Very good evening. This is Primetime News. I'm Joel Outscore.
And I'm Bandin Jai Singha. Very good evening to you. We start tonight's bulletin with CCTV footage of a youth who cheated death after falling off a moving bus and lived to tell the story.
The story will follow together with the headlines. Two police officers arrested following altercation with the youths in Kamtale. Minister Sajid Premadasu reveals 2.5 million families face housing issues. Minister Mangala Samarvira finds the former president's statement on GSP Plus absurd. Huge fire engulfs a large block of flats in London. Search and rescue continue.
In the light of growing number of hate crimes, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe issued a special statement from Temple Trees today addressing the need to maintain law and order.
යම් කිසි ආගමකට යම් කිසි ජනවර්ග කණ්ඩායමකට විරුද්ධ
The Cabinet of Ministers took a decision yesterday to instruct the police to take legal action against those who incite hatred and violence against a particular religion or community. This is with the intention of creating reconciliation and national unity among the people of this country. We as a country which has faced a 30-year-long war have decided to move forward now. We have instructed the police to take action with regard to the current situation and bring these matters to a resolve. They have been instructed to investigate those behind these attacks and arrest these persons and produce them before court. These measures are being duly followed. We request the police and all relevant units to work to maintain law and order. We may have to introduce new laws and get them passed in Parliament if needed. Two police officers found themselves on the wrong side of the law last night. They were arrested over a clash which broke out in Kamtale last evening. A group stormed into the police post at the Kamtale base hospital and assaulted two police officers in civil attire. The attack was carried out by a group of residents of the Bogas Hamdia area in Kamtale, claiming that the police officers were under the influence of alcohol. The situation had escalated after three youths had gone to the Kamtale tank from the Bogas Hamdi area in a three-wheeler to buy fish around 6 last evening when they were confronted and threatened by four people, including the two police officers in a car. Witnesses said following an exchange of words between the two parties, the three-wheeler had returned to Bogas Hamdia followed by the two police officers, whereupon they assaulted the youths in the three-wheeler. Another heated argument ensued between the two factions, causing the locals in the area to obstruct the vehicle in which the police officers arrived in. A few police officers on duty at the Kamtale police also arrived at the location. The youths who were assaulted were admitted to the Kamtale hospital. Later, the two police officers and their associates were also brought to the Kamtale base hospital. While the two associates were hospitalized, the two police officers were kept in a room at the hospital police. Around 11 p.m., a few locals stormed into the police post and directed the two police officers to a doctor for an examination to ascertain if the officers were under the influence.
මේ ගැටලුව විසඳීමට කන්තලේ කොට්ටාස භාර පොලිස් අධිකාරී
A discussion in relation to the proposed sugar factory in Ridhi Malia that turned violent today.
From the residents, the strong been accompanied The tourism industry is one of the main sources of attracting foreign revenue into the country. But what will the future of the tourism industry be? John Amarathunga is the Minister of Tourism of the incumbent government, and this was his most recent outburst he had with the media. Though the subject falls under Minister Amarathunga's purview, a 13-member task force was appointed by the Prime Minister recently to drive Sri Lanka's 2025 vision for the tourism industry. The high-profile task force is chaired by Harry Selvanathan and includes Udayanana Kara, Janaka Sugdadasa, Paddy Vithana and Harry Jabodhana to name a few.
John Amarathunga is the tourism minister, but the main institution which is heading the operations of the tourism ministry is the Tourism Advisory Board. Now, Harry Selvanathan is the person who has been appointed to head this advisory board. Harry Selvanathan's wife and Arjuna Mahendran's wife are sisters. Ministers who have no clue of whether they are sitting or standing, and ministers who are incapable of taking political decisions have been appointed to important positions. We call this the Royal Club. This is the secret, which is why people like John Amarathunga, no matter what they say or what nonsense they do, they are still being looked after and protected. This is a question we are asking the government. The government has to draw their attention on this matter immediately. You have to feel sorry for John Amarathunga because he is old now. He has been given a ministry and he is not being allowed to work. Every appointment is made from temple trees. Recently we saw how he fought with the media by using profanity. We are aware that ministers cannot give clear answers. Their instructions come from the Prime Minister's office. A separate committee has been appointed for that, where they are paid a separate salary as well. Appointments within the tourism ministry are also made from temple trees and all the money inflows are transferred there. All this destruction is being carried out by all the friends and relatives.
In a backdrop where a committee has been appointed to take decisions despite the existence of the tourism minister, the ministry's Deputy Minister Arundhika Fernando's conduct has also come under much scrutiny. A series of images were posted on social media of Deputy Minister Arundhika Fernando with former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Weerathunga, during former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's recent visit to Japan. Udayanga Weerathunga had posted this image on his Facebook page, saying he would assist the Deputy Minister in attracting Russian and Ukrainian tourists to Sri Lanka. Former Ambassador Udayanga Weerathunga was warranted on the 20th of October 2016 over the case pertaining to the MIG deal. A red alert has also been issued against Weerathunga for his arrest by Interpol.
No, we must ask both of them. We must summon the former president and our deputy minister and get the information they have. Both of them had done the same offence. We discussed this matter in cabinet yesterday to do what is required.
As we mentioned earlier on in the bulletin, a discussion in relation to the proposed sugar factory in Ridhi Malia turned violent today. Due to technical failure, we were not able to hear the story, but keep watching News First. We'll have the details later on in the news bulletin.
The ongoing controversy surrounding the proposed allocation of the National Lotteries Board being vested under the Minister of Foreign Affairs was discussed at the Cabinet media briefing today.
ඒක මගේ පෞද්ගලික විවේචනයක්. ඒක මෙතෙන්ට අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කැබිනට් මාධ්‍ය ප්‍රකාශක විදියට මම ඒකට උත්තර දෙන්න මෙතන සූදානම් නැහැ. මොකද මම මේ සම්බන්ධව මගේ ප්‍රකාශයක් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒකින්ද මම මේකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකක්ද රජයේ නිලස්ථාවරය ඇයි ඒ වගේ බෙදන්නේ? රජයේ නිලස්ථාවරය පත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔබතුමා ඉතාලියානු විදේශ සහ ලොතරැයි කියන දෙක ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. මගේ ප්‍රකාශයක් කරලා තියෙනවා. මගේ නෑ කොයි එකටද ලොතරැයි මට කියන්න අසම් මාත්මයා ලොතරැයි ගැලපෙන්න කොයි එකටද කියලා.
දැන් මේකට ගැලපෙන්නේ ඇයි ඒ මොකෝ මේක මුදල් ගැන විදේශ අමාත්‍යාංශයට ගැලපෙන්නේ නෑ මං අහන්නේ මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයට ගැලපෙන්නේ කොහොමද එහෙම මොකක් හරි තියුණයි කියලා ඒකෙදිම තියෙන්න ඕනයි කියලා එකක් නැහැනේ නෑ ඔබතුමා හිතනවාද ලංකාවේ විදේශ අමාත්‍යාංශයේ කාර්යභාරයක් තියෙනවා ඔබතුමාට ඒකට නෑ ඔබතුමා හිතනවාද මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශේ මොනවා හරි කාර්යභාරයක් තියෙනවා ලොතරැයි විකුණලා මුදල් සම්බන්ධ ගන්න නෑනේ ඉතින් ඒකෙන් නෙවෙයිනේ මේ අයවැලියකනේ හදන්නේ ගැලපෙන්නේ නෑ ඒක අපේ විදේශ ඇමතුමාට හිතනවා ඇති ගැලපෙනවා කියලා. ඒකනේ එක එක්කෙනාගේ නානත්ත කායා නානත්ත සංඥා. හොඳේ. දැන් අපි කියමු විදේශ කටයුතු අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ගානවා රටවල් ලෝක සිතියම දාලා මේ එකක් ලොතරැයියක්. එතකොට ඒක තමුන්නාති කියන්නේ ඒකත් මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයට දෙන්නේ කියලා. ජාතික ලොතරැයි සහ විදේශ කටයුතු ඇමති පළවෙනි වතාවට ලංකාවේ ලොතරැයි දැන් පිටරට විකුණන්න දැන් හදන්නේ මේවා විහිළු වැඩනේ ආමුදුනේ මේ ඔබතුමාගේ කැබිනට් ප්‍රකාශකතුමා එහාපතිනේ කියලා කිව්වේ. ඕකනේ කිව්වේ නානත්ත කායා නානත්ත සංඥා. ඉතින් හරි. ඒකනේ මේ තුන්දෙනෙක් ඉන්නේ නැත්තම් තුන්දෙනාම එක්කව ගල කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවනේ මෙතන වාඩි කරලා.
Dinesh Gunawardena, MP for the joint opposition, expressed strong views on the cabinet reshuffle. The government has made these appointments as an insult to Parliament and the general public. I state with responsibility. I wish to ask, where on earth do you find one minister with portfolios to finance and media? The lotteries come under the Ministry of Finance because it generates revenue that has been given to the foreign minister. No matter what shuffle is done, the issue aggravates.
Minister Vijit Vijaymunisoiza spoke to reporters today to comment on a statement made by the former president.
During the recent heavy downpour, lightning was also experienced. He might have assumed that it was the turning point. The country was shaken by the rains, but the government will not be shaken. Can it be done when we are sitting together like this? It is like the folktale where when two people get together, there is another who wait close by, because the two aforementioned people also tussle. When subjects are divided, the UNP leader does it for the UNP and the president does it for the SLFP. There needs to be something for the opposition to talk about. If not, they will be idle. The army headquarters was sold to Shangri-La. They reclaimed the sea and gave it to China for the port city. We have not agreed to give a single plot of land to multinational companies or other countries. Who gave the massive estates on 99-year leases? The government of Mahinda Rajapaksa. We were in that government. I would have opposed. I was like a small mouse. Compared to that period, I am now an important person.
Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vignesuran, requested two provincial ministers accused of corruption to resign from their positions. The Chief Minister appointed a committee and looked into the allegations of corruption that were levelled against the Provincial Minister of Education of the Northern Province, T. Kurukurarasa, Provincial Minister of Agriculture, P. Aingirunesan. The Chief Minister made the following statement at the Council today after obtaining the report of the investigation.
I am making a request from the Honourable Minister Kurukularasa and Aingirunesan to independently come forward and resign. There will be a fresh inquiry into the other two ministers as well. We will take into consideration the new facts that have come forward regarding them and take a decision after the investigation. Till the investigations conclude, the two ministers will have to go on holiday and allow the natural justice and the values of good governance to take course. These ministers and their personal staff should not get involved in the activities of their respective ministries. The responsibilities of these ministries will be taken over by me temporarily. The secretaries have to answer to me. If they are proven not guilty after the inquiry, they can take up the posts once again. I expect the letters of resignation of the two ministers and the letters of compulsory leave for the other two before lunchtime tomorrow. I will appoint the investigation committee as soon as possible. If there is a need, I will extend the holidays for these people.
The decision taken by the Chief Minister of the Northern Province to remove ministers who are guilty is a precedent to others.
Minister Sajith Premadasa, speaking in Sirikota, made a startling revelation on the housing issue.
The subject of housing was vested under one single ministry. Today, that has been divided among 6 different ministries. There were no documentation regarding the housing issue in the country. We identified this matter and carried out a census. Based on the finding, there are 6 million families in the country. 2.5 million families are facing a housing issue. The person from the previous government did know the number of huts that were in the country. He did not know how many half-constructed houses were there in the country. Without any data being initiated a housing issue. 420 Udagammana villages are being constructed. Our aim is to reach 500 this year. We need to have almost 2,000 such villages in the country. We are moving under the Samata Sevana concept.
Samata Sevana 2025 දී Samata Sevana කියන තේමාව යටතේ යන්නේ. ඉතින් අපේ ඉලක්කය 2025 දී සම්පූර්ණ කරන්න.
Journalists questioned the minister as to whether the housing matter being vested under several ministries would not hinder the government's objectives.
Even if it was under one ministry, we can carry on, but we would require large workforce. I believe it would have been easy to have it under one ministry, but with the existing workforce, it has become a serious matter.
මේ ඉන්න නිලධාරීන් ප්‍රමාණය තුල මේක ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම ඉතාමත්ම.
We would like to focus your attention onto a story which we mentioned earlier on in the bulletin. Now, a discussion in relation to the proposed sugar factory in Ridhi Maladya turned violent today. Locals from Dehigama, Ridhi Maladya camped overnight at the site of the proposed sugar factory in the area after getting word that the foreign investor was visiting the site. Locals were tipped that the investor was being accompanied by personnel from the Mahavali Development Authority. The local agent for the investor arrived at the site at 11 this morning and the discussion took a violent turn. The local agent was sent away amidst the strong opposition from the residents.
Minister of Finance and Media Mangala Samaravira has responded to a statement issued by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa regarding the GSP Plus concession.
The minister said the former president is conveniently hiding the fact that the country has to be declared an upper middle income country for 3 consecutive years by the World Bank and an additional year after the decision is taken to withdraw the benefit. Only at that point will the country no longer be eligible for the GSP Plus. Minister Mangal adds that the idea that GSP Plus puts Sri Lanka under the supervision of the EU is simply absurd. The release reads, by committing to a number of universal human rights principles, we do nothing that was not already recommended by the Sri Lankan people. Mangala Samaravira says that the GSP Plus system for this government is a partnership that helps our nation and our people regain their due place once again on the international stage. Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe was questioned today on the premise upon which his loss calculations were based in relation to the bond auctions in 2015 and 2016. News First, Sofik Farzan reports.
According to the Auditor General, the calculations that he used were on the premise that if the Central Bank of Sri Lanka had accepted the amount that was on offer, that would have given a yield rate, and that yield rate could have been used to raise the remaining cash flow requirements through direct placements. He added that the failure of the central bank to do so had resulted in the loss that was calculated by the Auditor General. The factor used to calculate the losses by the Auditor General was the removal of direct placements. Since the 27th of February 2015, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka had not carried out any direct placements. According to the Auditor General, the Monetary Board of Sri Lanka must be held responsible for the losses caused following the removal of direct placements. It came to light that the auction on the 10th of March 2016 was aimed to raise money to make coupon payments. Both auctions on the 24th and 29th of March 2016 were aimed to raise money to meet the cash requirements of the government for the 2nd of April 2016. Council for Perpetual Treasuries Limited suggested that the Auditor General had made loss calculations for the auction on the 29th of March 2016 based on a wrong interpretation. However, the witness denied these claims. The Council claimed that the report of the Auditor General is partial, to which the Auditor General took a firm stance and stood by the findings of his report. Attorney-at-Law Harsha Fernando questioned the witness on the Auditor General's report submitted to then Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake. It came to light that from 2008 to 2015, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka had raised 4.7 trillion rupees in direct placements alone. On that figure, less than 1% were given at the market rate, while 45.36% were given below the market rate. The Auditor General noted that administrative flaws in the past caused impropriety in direct placements and urged there needs to be more control on this method. He added that when there were less funds in 2008, direct placements were at times made at 20 to 30%. He said these matters did not come to light as during that time the central bank had refused to provide information citing the principle of secrecy. The Auditor General said the department is capable of carrying out a complete audit as done in other countries, given that the Central Bank of Sri Lanka provides the required information.
Former National Intelligence Chief retired Major General Kapila Henduvitharana appeared before the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today.
The former National Intelligence Chief was summoned to record a statement in relation to several monetary transactions under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
Last night, we heard a plea from a mother and daughter who lost everything to the torrential floods. Today, we are pleased to announce that their plea has been answered.
A heavy downpour was experienced in the Panugale Vatta in Ratnapura today. This mother and daughter lost their only home to the floods and were left with nowhere to go to escape this downpour. The President's son, Daham Sirisena, came to their aid today with a promise to build them a house. The site of their house was inspected and a guarantee was also given.
එතුමා අපිට පොරොන්දු වුණා මේ ගේ හදලා දෙනවා කියලා දරුවටත් ඉන්න ගයක් හදලා දෙනවා කියලා ඒ වැඩ කටයුතු ලබන සතියේම පටන් ගන්න බවට එතුමා පොරොන්දු වෙලා අපේ හිත හදලා එතුමා මෙතනින් නික්ම ගියා.
The lives of this single mother and child changed completely after their houses washed away by the gushing waters of the Kalu River, which broke its banks on the 26th of May.
Well, on that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Outscoon.